2 hands. You're just gonna let him beat your ass like that?
This is too easy. Don't stop making me look good now, kid. We're just getting started.
This is the final fight. Get back in there and show him what you're made of. If you don't finish this, then I'll have to.
And here I thought this would be a piece of cake. I just wanted to talk about a game, not get roped into some kind of street fight. Wasn't this series about stopping gang violence anyways? How'd a beloved Capcom game that swept arcades years ago turn into this? Hard to explain, but somebody's gotta do the dirty work. Alright, let's get this party jumping. Time for another look into a game with bad rep. We're gonna start with a little history lesson about the big old Capcom itself. You might have heard of them, right? A small Japanese company that started off making coin-op games like Little League, founded by Kenzo Sugimoto in 1983. They've had some form of success since their inception, with titles like 1942, Commando, and Ghost and Goblins being some of their popular games in the mid-1980s. As the years went on, Capcom recognized that arcades weren't the only popular setting for gameplay. Living rooms were starting to show promise once again thanks to Nintendo's Entertainment System, Sega's Master System, and the boom in affordable computer technology. Mr. Sugimoto had 2 options: port games over to these consoles, or create arcade titles that could surpass the hardware those home consoles had to offer. So, he did both. The move to CPS-1 arcade boards started with development around 1986, and plans to release console ports of popular titles soon followed. The year after, Capcom released Street Fighter for the arcades. While the company wasn't known for one-on-one fighting games or beat-em-ups at the time, they started to experiment with ideas thanks to the success of Tecno's Double Dragon 2. I mean, Capcom's experience with Trojan and Avengers in '86 helped bolster their confidence too. What better way to capitalize than creating a groundbreaking sequel to its popular fighting IP? That's right, Street Fighter 2. Final Fight was released to arcades in 1989, thanks to a genre and focus shift within Capcom's higher-ups. Produced by Yoshiki Okamoto, designed by Akira Nishitani and Akira Yasuda, and composed by Harumi Fujita, Yasuaki Fujita, Manami Matsume, Yoshihiro Sakaguchi, Yoko Shimomura, Hiromitsu Takaoka, and Junko Tamiya. I really hope I pronounced those right, and if I didn't, just let me know in the comments. Please, I would love to know. The main plot revolves around its 3 protagonists: Mike Hagar, a retired wrestler and current mayor of Metro City; Cody Travers, an expert brawler and future homicide suspect; and Guy. Yes, his name's Guy, Bushinryu master and modern ninja. Jessica Hagar is captured by the Mad Gear Gang tormenting the streets of Metro City in an attempt to control the mayor. The 3 heroes must put an end to the gang and stop Belger from terrorizing the streets again. Classic damsel in distress motif, with an amazing soundtrack and 6 stages of butt-kicking action to run through. The game took Japanese arcades by storm, becoming one of the highest-grossing titles in the 90s. The movie-esque flow of story and the unique character playstyles helped accent the gritty backgrounds and intense music. The series took off, spawning 2 sequels, spin-offs, and even became a part of Street Fighter like previously planned, thanks to Street Fighter Alpha. As the 90s came and went, arcades faded with the rise of more powerful console tech. Final Fight tried to keep up, with mixed results. Some ports were missing content, and other games were an attempt to cash in on the fighting game popularity. Final Fight went dormant. That is, until a prototype went into works from Capcom Studio 8. We were finally going to return to form and get a classic beat-em-up to continue the Metro City experience. Final Fight 7 Sons was going to be a refreshing take that we've needed for so long, and...
What is that?
Why does it look like this? Who the hell is Kyle?
That bloody-looking guy in the corner. That's me.
Final Fight Streetwise released in 2006 instead of 7 Sons. Developed by Capcom Studio 8, a minor California branch known for the Maximo series, as well as Final Fight Revenge. The game is directed by Yoshiaki Atano and written by Dan Danko, Tom Mason, and Trent Kaniuka. Trent also worked on concept art and voiced the main character of the game, Kyle Travers. It takes place in a modernized version of Metro City, where pit fighting and crime rates have skyrocketed. After Cody Travers goes missing, Kyle's forced to find his older brother and solve the mystery behind a new drug taking over the streets. The game takes a grittier, realistic approach instead of the cartoony prototype, with 4 explorable districts that give off early GTA vibes. There's dojos to learn moves, minigames to make money, and even returning characters. Hagar and Guy are still around, while new characters like Kyle, Vanessa, and 2ill and others were introduced. The chaotic plot and scenes really carry this game, and it culminates into a wild reveal that will have old fans surprised. We're gonna get into the good, because there's some real redeeming qualities this game has. In my opinion, sound design is awesome, with the instinct counters feeling so damn weighty when you're able to pull them off. The beat-em-up aspect isn't too complex, but it gets the job done and provides a decent amount of moves to upgrade into. Plus, there's plenty of ways to make money so you can always stay topped up for health and training. Crushing roaches, breaking cars, 3-card Monty, slide puzzles. On second thought, no slide puzzles. Everything else is fine though, and as a minigame enjoyer, I found myself messing around a lot with these other ones. Can't forget the pit fights and side quests, which will give you some practice and prize money for your troubles. The love put into this game blows my mind, because there's Easter eggs everywhere, especially to Street Fighter. Tons of posters, labels, hell, even Cammy is a playable fight mid-game, and she's pretty true to form, spiral arrow, spin knuckles and all. The music for the game is also surprisingly good, albeit because of all the licensed artists they were able to grab. Mos Def, MF Doom, Slipknot, Lil Flip, the list goes on. NPC dialogue isn't amazing, but some of those quotes hit hard.
I'd help you beat down these punks, except that I'm a fucking pussy.
So does Kyle's quotes when picking up cash items.
Money.
The game's focused on single-player interactions, but also has a 2-player arcade mode, with an OG Final Fight arcade port being playable once you get through the story far enough. The respect bar is good for comedic effect, whether you increase it or decrease it. Now, the bad. The game's core loop gets monotonous after the first mission. Go here, fight cutscene, go there, fight cutscene. Most side missions end up being the same way and doesn't make interacting with the NPCs really worth it unless you need the cash. The whole game's got this dull and drab look to it. Part of the grittiness, sure, but it makes areas feel like they blend in and forces the player to remember the fight arenas more than the exploration parts. Let's get this out now. I love the story, but it's because of how campy and insane it is. I don't like the drug angle because it feels like a cop-out. Like Vanessa's brother,
Boo, you stink!
And the twist ending with Bella revealing himself as Belger was... it was sick, but there was no resolution after Kyle killed him. The camera can be your enemy a lot of the time, and it's because they kept the railcam system the prototype had but adjusted it to the 3D environments. Some game mechanics either don't make sense or just suck, like kicking the rats on Glowed Up Stiff's fight, or Vanessa and 2ill sharing a health bar. That escort mission took way longer than it needed to, and it's because if either of them get hit by an explosive, they take sheer damage and you fail. Ending the game on a boss rush is cool, but it's incredibly tedious and could have been separated with more build-up. Again, in my opinion. The overall feeling of the game wanted to be Grand Theft Auto, but all I could think about it while I was playing was, damn, this is kind of like Tony Hawk's Underground 2, but unintentionally funny. It really is a shame that this game isn't that popular because Capcom Studio 8 put so much into it. The instinct mechanics, music, sound design, background accents, etc. The love is there. I just wish it went into parts of the game that mattered. The story and feel of the game really hinder the enjoyment at times, and it feels like things were half-assed. None of the side characters are memorable, the camera sucks to use, and Kyle is just kind of boring overall.
Shit. Here we go again.
After you beat Belger, there seem to be hints for another game in the future since Dr. Chang was only arrested. Spoilers, that didn't happen. I still can't believe Seven Sons went from looking like that to looking like this. The game even had more things stripped from it in its beta format beyond the prototype. A combo meter below the instinct bar, icon changes, and various other differences show up when you compare some of the early footage. Oh yeah, and the Xbox port apparently has a few more problems than the PS2 one, so if you ever plan on playing it, go with the Sony version. A game that could have been a love letter to old fans and new fans alike turned into a cash grab chasing after the coattails of other popular games at the time, and it feels like a slap in the face to developers and consumers who made and played this game. That being said, I want to emphasize that I don't blame the studio for their unfortunate shortcomings. Were some of the problems theirs? Yes, as a growing and learning studio they could have made some decisions differently. But they can make good games, and I think the Maximo series is proof of that. The real problem was a higher up looked at Seven Sons and decided that idea sucked, so they shifted focus last second. Capcom Studio 8 was dissolved back into the major corporation in 2006, and some people credit this game as the reason for it. While I can neither confirm nor deny, I don't think this game or Seven Sons would have helped their case either way. Restructuring, cutbacks, layoffs, these things are common among larger companies, and it seems that Capcom was going through some growing pains around that time anyways. Should they have changed the efforts of the studio while chasing trends?
Hell no!
That was dumb, and I still wonder what a completed version of Seven Sons would have looked like. Hindsight is always 20/20, and the studio did the best with what time and resources they had. Obviously, some things could have been better, but the effort they put in deserves to be recognized. It's still got plenty of issues, but it's a fun game, and the studio did its best with the timeline they had. Final Fight Streetwise was... well, it was a take on the series. Some loved it, some really hated it. Studio 8 did what they could, but it's hard to salvage aspects of a project you're proud of and put it towards something you don't agree with. Like I said before, this stuff takes work behind the scenes, whether it turns out good or bad. Game creation isn't easy, and it's especially difficult when you have the rug pulled out from under you after you've made a great concept. I think that for all its shortcomings, it's way more fun than it has any business being, and the nods to old Capcom properties really make me think it could have been more with a good amount of time to work with. I know Trent Kaniuga went on to work with other companies and even made an indie game called Twilight Monk, so it's nice to know what some of these folks are up to nowadays. Maybe one day we'll get him to voice Kyle in Streetwise too, right? Anyone? Either way, I think it's a good game that could have been great had there not been any internal meddling to stop its potential. Unfortunate that it was a war the devs couldn't win, but at least they put up a good fight. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed what you saw, like and subscribe maybe? Next episode's a bit special, as I'll be looking into a cultural phenomenon that eventually pooped out a not-so-great game. I'd say more, but that information's for the homies only. Anyways.
You will not rob me of my destiny. Or my revenge.